This is the guy they were going to trade up for. He comes to them at 11. They feel that they got a steal. Let's find out. If Robert Saleh signs off on it too, I'm not here to argue with you, but this guy better hit, or whatever is setting the tone for your entire organization is off once again. This NFL draft for the San Francisco 49ers has more Robert Saleh DNA all over it than a cheap hotel room when you break out the black light. I mean, this man's DNA is sprayed all over this draft, and the 49ers are better because of it. There's no doubt in my mind. I love the fact that this team decided, all right, we're not going to be able to address all of our problems, but we're going to take one of them so seriously, people will write stories about it. They're tired of watching other teams run all over them. That is evident. That is obvious. And that was what this draft is all about, stopping the run. And they did so with the number one pick that they made, and Mikael Williams, who as an edge rusher sets an edge better than anybody else in this draft. At least that's what they say. He is only 20, and whatever you see in terms of he's not getting to the quarterback, guys don't run around him. Well, when you have edges that set edges, you better have a couple of big boys in the middle, and boy, that's where the 49ers draft really takes a turn to phenomenal. I love Alfred Callens, who, by the way, I predicted the 49ers taking at 43. I got the video evidence and receipts to prove it. Alfred Callens, out of Texas, is an apartment building. He's not as big as a house. He's as big as a building. And this guy, when you pair him with CJ West out of Indiana, go Hoosiers, who they then take in the 4th round, the two of those guys are going to play perfectly together. They are set to play perfectly together. One guy takes on blockers, other guy cleans everything up. CJ West was the number one point of concentration for any offensive coordinator against Indiana, and now he is the other guy to worry about. I cannot wait to see what he looks like in that role for the 49ers. A few reaches? Absolutely. A few players that leave me scratching my head? Absolutely. But again, Robert Saleh is a human benefit of the doubt that I'm willing to extend to the Niners in this draft. And then I really, really hope, and you should hope to, like, pray to whatever God you pray to, you get your voodoo dolls out, whatever you need to do. Go to your Shinto shrines or your Buddhist temples. And just hope that nothing happens to either Trent Williams or Colton McKivitz, because if this team loses a tackle, they are in an awful lot of trouble. The way that they're currently built, they needed a tackle. They did not get a tackle. They got some interior offensive line play. Connor Colby at Iowa in the 7th round could be someone who steps in right away and plays. There is something that all of these guys have in common. All of them. They played a lot of college football. After being stung by Trey Lance's evaluation, I'm happy to see that. I'm not surprised to see that. The leftover residue of the Trey Lance mistake, I think, on this front office is we're not going to take a flyer on a guy who we don't have a lot of tape of. Now, we might see someone who's got a lot of tape and still be wrong about them, but at least we have reasons to be wrong in these convictions. There's no way the 49ers batted 1,000 in this draft. Nobody does. I really wish that they would also pretty much like invent a position. The position that the 49ers need is a director of draft projection. Because, I mean, look, you can squint staring into the sun that is your own draft board, but how your draft board revolves around other draft boards, that to me is a place where the 49ers don't do a very good job. There are a few picks in this draft. I want to refer to Warren Sharp, who you've heard me bring up that name. He's a really good he analyzes an awful lot of stuff. And he does a great job analyzing things and looking back and using data. And not all data points turn into good players, and not all players with data points are bad players. But he said, look, after ranking 28th in draft value last year, and value, the consensus big board, who makes the consensus? The media. What does the media know? Well, just like everybody else in this exercise, not everything, but, when you have a consensus big board and you are, reaching for players, like, look at it this way. In draft value, the 49ers ranked 31st this year, second to last. Now, let's see who these players become, and who cares? If you got the right player, it doesn't matter where you got the right player. But a guy like Nick Martin was drafted at 75. He was projected at 192. Ole Miss wide receiver Jordan Watkins, the Niners took him at 138. He was maybe going undrafted on some people's boards. Like he is a top 300 consensus player. There are convictions that the Niners have. And I like that they stick with those convictions. But I wish that they would realize that their convictions that lead them to players that they have huge feelings over means you can probably trade back 2 or 3 times. The biggest mistake that the 49ers made in this draft is that they didn't trade back not once. There were so many opportunities to get every single name that is on your board and more, because they don't understand how the rest of this draft works. Or they refuse to acknowledge that what they value changes their big board so much that it probably means you can gamble a little. You can gamble a little, and they didn't. And they only walked away with 11 players instead of more. More opportunities, more bites at the apple, I think were there for them to take, and they didn't. And I believe that that was a mistake. But look, just going through them name by name real quick, let's do it. Round 1, Mikael Williams out of Georgia. Now, they said that they were going to trade up for him. They got nervous that he was going to go. That's how much this entire organization is pot committed to this guy being a player. So much so that if he isn't, if this is Solomon Thomas 2.0, people should need to be fired because, huge consensus. They wanted to trade up for him. They didn't say they wanted to trade up for a tackle or anything. This is the guy they were going to trade up for. He comes to them at 11. They feel that they got a steal. Let's find out. He is huge. He is a monster. He's only 20. Great motor, bum ankle, which reduced some of the production. Okay. If Robert Saleh signs off on it too, I'm not here to argue with you, but this guy better hit. If you're telling me that the one thing that everybody involved in the 49ers agreed on was this, well, then this better be right. Or whatever is setting the tone for your entire organization is off once again. Round number 2, Alfred Collins out of Texas. Love the pick. Absolute house, earth mover type of a dude who's played a million college football games. He's seen it all. Big 12, SEC, big games, big opponents, nothing but big opponents his entire career, and he's handled them all. Nick Martin, a big reach. The linebacker from Oklahoma State. Again, you could have gotten Nick Martin probably in the 4th, 5th round, but there you go. I'm going to say that's a Saleh special. Robert Saleh understands linebacker play. Robert Saleh is good at drafting linebackers. I like that pick. Okay, go ahead. No problems there. Upton Stout, Western Kentucky. This is the biggest reach of the day, but okay, Saleh, you said you needed a slot. You get a slot. CJ West went to Indiana. I like that. Jordan Watkins, Mississippi. I didn't look at your name until you were drafted, young man. I didn't see it once. I didn't think that this guy was going to be. No, Jordan, I didn't even think. The only time I ever Googled his name is after they drafted him. Kid's got an incredible opportunity. An awful lot of production. I mean, he led the SEC in touchdown catches. That ain't a bad thing. He's got big catch radius, big hands. Let's go. Kid, you're going to get all the world of snaps sent your way due to the current 49ers wide receiver situation. Take advantage of them. I dare you. Take advantage of them. You got a huge, huge opportunity in front of you. Any wide receiver with the 49ers could be your starting wide receiver. Jordan James out of Oregon. This is where a little bit of draft anger started kicking in for me a little bit because I'm like, really? Another Shanahan reach at running back? Now, Jordan James, good player. But again, I think you could have had a similar player later in this draft. When you found out that Malik Mustafa, after the fact, is going to be missing part of the upcoming season, the safety, Marcus Siegel out of K-State makes a little bit more sense. And then Curtis Rourke from Indiana, the quarterback, who is basically a red shirt player, but you can cut Brock Purdy now because the future is assured. No, I'm just kidding. Again, I don't know why they drafted Curtis Rourke. I'm surprised by that. They must really fancy him or must really be big fans of Indiana football like me. But I was really surprised by that pick. I thought that there was an opportunity to add a little bit more beef and somebody to compete for some tackle snaps, backup, obviously, but another offensive lineman. Then Connor Colby out of Iowa was a 7th-round offensive lineman drafted. Guard, go get him, kid. Again, you're going to have an opportunity to step right in. He played a ton at Iowa. Then a Junior Bergen out of Montana, wide receiver. Absolutely no clue. Good luck. No clue. I'm not going to wax poetic about him at all. The 49ers final pick being that 7th rounder. But we'll see. We will see what it all looks like when it's said and done. Thanks for watching. Tune into the Damon Bruce Show live on YouTube every weekday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific.